Thank you for listening to the 16th episode of the Slow Ride Podcast. I'm Tim Hayes in Gainesville, Florida. I am joined, as always, with little guy Matt Allen, a bicycle messenger in Minneapolis. Can be found on Twitter at littleguymatt. And in Boston, Massachusetts, Spencer Howe, Haugh. He can be found on Twitter at Spencer Howe. Follow me at the Super Rookie. And this week, we talk about the Tour de France, the Tour de France, the Tour de France, and we throw in a little bit about podium girls
Tour de
at the
France.
very end. In the Tour de France conversation, we're going to talk about the new technical features. We're going to talk about Mark Cavendish's headbutt, and of course, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite Jens Voigt. All right, gentlemen, it is the 101st Tour de France on Saturday, and without any time to be wasted, controversy reared its ugly head, or should I say, Mark Cavendish's ugly head, when he headbutted his way to the tarmac and out of the Tour. Marcel Kittel took the first stage. Cavendish later accepted the blame, but should he still get flack for the carnage that he caused? Spencer?
From who? From the UCI or from us?
From both the UCI
Yeah.
and us.
I think the sprint was, despite everybody crashing. Well, not everybody, but some people crashing.
Three people.
It was relatively clean. Like everybody went in a straight line. Cav just tried to go in a straight line where somebody already was. I don't think it was relegatable as far as the rules go. I think he did the right thing, apologizing and stuff, and really kind of karma. He's the only one who really injured himself badly. So hey,
It's true.
5 years ago, Cavendish would not have apologized. But I do want to point out, there was the whole Robbie McEwen versus Baden Cook headbutt thing, and now we've got Mark Cavendish versus Simon Gerrans. I'm sensing that there is a disagreement in the Commonwealth between Britain and Australia when it comes to sprinting. So I don't know if you guys picked up on that.
I was just more surprised. I didn't know what the Phil and Paul were gonna do, because if there'd been a non-English speaking rider that had forced Cavendish or Gerrans to fall, they obviously could pick sides really quickly. But if you've got two English speakers clashing like that, I mean, how do you decide who to talk about it? It was probably hard for them.
Oh, yeah.
that's very tough for them. Yeah.
Good point. I do want to say that the tour this year has been pretty awesome, especially these first two stages. The reason
today
I
was
like
great.
it, today's stage, they claimed this 33% gradient climb. I didn't see 33%, but then again, maybe, it's kind of a falseness of television. But it was pretty awesome to see. It reminded me a lot of how every town has a little bit of a secret climb. And the way they
33% though. That's like a loop de loop, right?
I know. And they were
Yeah.
talking about how this climb was in the back roads of Sheffield. But it got me to thinking that a few weeks ago, little guy, you were talking about how much you hated grand tours that start in foreign countries, like Northern
Yep.
Ireland for the Giro.
I do.
With these 2 days of the tour bringing excitement, do you want to retract those words, or do you still agree?
No, I still stand by that. It can be exciting, and I could still think it's a stupid idea, because they could have found a steep road in France.
Sure. They do have one more stage tomorrow. It's going to end in front of, I believe, Buckingham Palace or whatever. The good news is that England is so close to France that there isn't a weird rest day. Because remember how the Giro had that 3 days of
Yeah.
racing, and then they did a rest day to go back to Italy. I mean, they're just pretty much going to ride underneath the channel, right? And then there they are racing in northern France.
Yeah, that is nice that there's no extra rest days.
And
So-
the wild card team's got to take the ferry. It's going to take them 18 hours to get across.
Some of the
Brent and Shaw, whatever, on the ferry all by themselves.
Yeah, like we can't afford the tube, you guys. Are you crazy?
well, there's definitely a lot of that. What do you guys have anything that came out? I've got this little crib note of lists of the first day of the tour, or the first 2 days of the tour that came up. For example, what is up with Tinkoff Saxo Bank going with the high vis yellow green combo, but yet they can't get the matching helmets? It's almost like they didn't plan this. They have the old yellow helmets, of the old
Yeah.
Saxo, but then they've got this neon green, and now there's this horrible clash going on.
I'd like to think that the jerseys were like something that Olag or whatever his name is, the Tinkoff guy, thought of and forgot to tell Bjarni, and he sort of brought them in from 2 days ago and was like, "Yes, this is gonna be awesome, and do a press release right now, and you put these on," and everyone was like, "Yay!"
So
And it
Bjarni was
wasn't
totally
planned.
caught holding the bag as Tinkoff comes. I have this great idea, guys, and
Yeah,
it's kind of
and
like
he
every
just brings them
idea.
out.
It's like
He probably
every
already had it made
idea.
up, you know?
Every idea I've ever had at the bike shop. Hey Keith, this is what we're gonna do, and then like, oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
like-
about right. Yeah.
I'm sure that's exactly how it is. Is like he's always got ideas, and Bjarni's going, "Yeah, we'll try to do that. That'll be cool. That'll be really great, man." And he's like, "Oh yeah,
Always
how do I
underestimates
make this less painful?"
And,
Olag's willingness to spend money on ridiculous stuff. Yeah.
the other things that I noticed that, and then you guys can come up with some things to add too, but the crowds were amazing. Tons of people along the side of the road. I haven't seen that
Yeah.
in a long time. A lot less running on the side of the stage, but they were just standing in the middle of the roadway, it seemed.
There was a lot
But
of that.
but the
Yeah.
running, maybe that's just that's kind of getting old, perhaps. Peter Sagan, when he was in the white jersey, did opt for the green shorts of Cannondale. I am wondering tomorrow if he's going to have a full green look as he's got the points jersey. And then finally, David Miller was at the start line today. I don't know if you guys saw this. I saw some pictures
No.
of him, and he's looking kind of old and not very healthy. I mean, definite distraction, that guy.
Maybe that's
He's-
why he's
maybe
not
he
on
just-
the team.
Yeah, maybe he just wandered there. Maybe he has Alzheimer's and just
Ooh.
ended up at the start line. Like,
I
Like
love
just-
I love you can make fun of him, but I mean you guys are probably the same age.
That is pretty good. Do you guys have anything else that you've noticed in the first couple days?
No, I don't know. Seems like all the favorites are pretty equally matched so far. Though it's nice to see the Sharks already attacking.
Oh, speaking of the shark with that's Vincenzo Nibali. Spencer, you were so excited when he won the Italian national championship. How do you feel after seeing that abomination of a national kit from Astana?
it's kind of Astana's thing that they do with they can't change the Kazakh pride too much, and they can't overrun it with a different nation's flag, which is just disappointing because every national kit they've ever done has been horrible, and
It's true.
it's really a shame because if there's one thing you can usually depend on, it's a ridiculously just big Italian flag kit for the champion of Italy,
Well,
and that's how it should be.
the Astana does have a track record of doing horrible national team kits. I remember you could never tell who was the actual Kazakhstani champion because it looked just like the Astana kit. But they did go kind of outside their box with the Levi Leipheimer U.S. national champ jersey. I wasn't the biggest fan, but at least they Astana'd it to be like, oh, okay, like he's something else. This
To
thing
Astana.
is
Is it good?
horrible. And you take that and you put it up against the French national champion jersey, which almost doesn't even have the FD Jour
Yeah.
logo
Yeah.
on there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
That's
just
because Mark Maddett is just kind of he's a crazy guy. He's the complete opposite, whereas Astana want to hide at all costs and only want to support their thing. Dude over at FDJ, he's so excited about having the French national kit.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't want anything else in there. Like you see it, you're like French national champ, and then you figure it out and you learn. And I mean, it's the French lottery too, so they kind of have to
well, I like
really
that
support the cause.
Mark Maddett. For those that need to know who he is, he's the picture that we included on last week's podcast on the slowridepodcast.com of sticking his head almost all the way out the window as he's yelling at one of his riders winning a stage. The
He put like 5 dents in the door of that car, pounding on it. Like he was so excited in that photo.
It was worth it.
yeah,
That's speaking of that, Thibaut Pinot, he's like one of the few GC guys who lost some seconds today.
Well,
so
yeah, and
Might
I
be
was gonna
trouble.
get to that. The actual
He's French. That's how they do it. You just lose a few.
other
It's not
guys
a big
didn't
deal.
lose time.
It's not so
I don't know.
brief.
Their 16 seconds went down to Frank Schleck, and Andy Schleck lost almost a minute.
Those are GC guys?
Well, you got to.
That's pretty good for
I,
Andy.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
pretty good.
Andy
yeah.
lost a minute 20. Frank Schleck lost
I mean,
16 seconds.
let's be honest. We're all surprised 2 stages in that they're both still in the race.
True.
They haven't
The
fractured in half yet. Yeah.
the only
Frandy is not known for sticking around for a long time these
You
days.
know what I think what's surprising is they didn't finish in the same group. I can't believe that Frank dropped his brother. That's just mean.
They are kind of joined at the hip these days. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the only person that, well, I think this gentleman really solidifies Haimar Zubeldia's ranking as the GC contender for Trek
He
Factory
is.
Racing. I mean, with
I know, he
Schleck's
made
already
it.
out, he's got 2
So
loyal lieutenants. It's amazing. This is Zubeldia's year. He's gonna hope.
Zubeldia's in. Yeah, he's got the experience to lead the team. I mean, he's done 65 or 70 tours so
Oh,
far.
I mean, and
Yep.
who's gonna be ready for when the musette bag latches onto Contador's bars? Who's gonna
Yeah.
be the guy that's gonna attack and drive it? It's gonna be Zubeldia. With that, we're gonna take our first break, and we'll be coming back in a second with our discussion on new technical features at the Tour de France.
Ooh.
All right, gentlemen, we're back with something that, as expected, the Tour de France is where the companies unveil their newest and greatest inventions. And Trek wasted no time in unveiling the Amanda line of bicycles, claiming them to be the lightest production bike on the market. Gunshots in the background from Dorchester, Boston, where Spencer Howe is. This is great.
Yeah, people are getting murdered pretty
Are
much
they-
constantly.
Is it because they're excited over the lightest production bike on the market from Trek, named the Amanda?
I mean,
Um,
it's little known fact that the Revolutionary War is still being waged here in Dorchester.
Now,
Um,
now
now the Ebola bike from Trek seems pretty light. It's dropped a lot of weight somehow. I'm not
Well-
sure how they expended all that.
So I like that you called it the Ebola bike. Look, I've got the details here for you, okay? So check this. The UCI minimum for a bike is 6.8 kilograms or 14.99 pounds. So that's how much it has to weigh. And we remember a few years ago, Cannondale had their whole legalize my Cannondale, where they would glue the weights on the top tube so you could see it and be like, oh, that's a really light bike, right? So
Yeah.
Cannondale, or I'm sorry, the UCI says 15 pounds, basically. The Trek full Amanda with SRAM Red 22, which retails at $15,750,
Oh,
comes
it's a
in
deal.
comes in at 4.65 kilograms or 10.25 pounds.
You
So
could buy 3 Skodas for that.
Yes. So the bigger question is 10.25 pounds. That's almost, well, doing my social studies teacher math here, that's roughly 4 pounds, or three and a half pounds lighter
Ugh.
than the UCI minimum. So what's the point?
They don't weigh at local races, man.
So
That's true.
So it
This
won't
is
get
only
the UCI
UCI.
sticker.
Yeah.
What?
Well, it wouldn't. Well, I guess the frame would still get the sticker, but you would need to
anything.
find.
Any frame can fit within those UCI guidelines. All you got to do is put like 9 power meters on it, and boom, 14 pounds.
Ah, there you go. The power meters may be the way.
Yeah.
I really don't care that much, but little
Nerd.
guy, what's your bike weigh?
I don't know. I probably a lot. Probably, I don't know. Probably like 19, 18, 19 range. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's a normal number to shoot for. I'm just curious. So,
I've
so
never
let-
weighed my bike.
all right. So
I have also have no idea what my bike weighs.
let's get to the biggest technological advancement that we have, and that is Tinkoff Saxo Bank's water carrying device that can hold 5 water bottles. Have you guys seen this thing? This vest that has pockets
No.
so you can carry the water bottles?
Whoa.
Yeah, pockets all the way up the back, so the water carriers don't have to stuff them down the jerseys
Oh.
anymore.
But this,
That's pretty
Um,
smart.
did you hear
that's
who
smart.
invented this?
Probably
No.
Tinkoff.
It was Michael Rogers came to Tinkoff with this idea, and Tinkoff called up their jersey manufacturer and was like, "Hey, we need a vest for water bottles." But it does seem a little limiting because let's think about this for a second. It only fits 5 water bottles, right?
Yeah.
If you put 3 in your jersey pocket, and then you can easily stuff 2 down the back of your jersey, like where the normal racers, that you're actually only getting 5 water bottles where you can easily, I mean, don't they do the competition throughout the tour with who can carry the most? And sometimes it's like, 15, 16 bottles.
Yeah.
So you're bummed that they're just gonna lose the most bottles carried, but they're probably gonna get the most bottles to their destination.
See, I'm interested in how this little vest works. Like, does the mechanic already have this vest filled up, and then he hands it out the window, and then the rider, while he's riding, fills it? Or does, like, the rider put it on, and then the mechanic comes by and stuffs the vest?
Where's the vest? Does it actually go over, or is he like
goes
wear
over.
it like a base layer?
No, it goes over, so it's like a black mesh. It's something you wear to the club. Well, I mean, clubs that you guys go to.
Foam party.
If someone wore that to the next foam party, you're definitely on the VIP list.
You'd have all your drinks. It'd be great.
Those are the 2 big technical things that I just wanted to talk about.
I mean,
with you guys.
I think there's another technical, breakthrough going on right now.
What's that?
Is that somehow since the Giro to the Tour, aero helmets have gotten less ugly. They're still
Really?
there.
Because they've gotten
and
less
they're still
aero.
ugly, but they're less ugly.
How are they less ugly? They're wearing.
I don't know, because they're still ugly.
Which
but
one?
They're less ugly.
So I have not seen. I've seen the Katusha Paolini was wearing his. I haven't seen.
Oh, they're still full goofy.
I haven't seen overt like. I still haven't seen anyone go all out with like an airbrush job circa the strip mall. And I really want to see that. Like the Shark. Why did Vincenzo Nibali, who's nicknamed the Shark, whose bike was filled with shark teeth, not have jaws? I mean, this seems to me, if hockey goalies can get away with it, why don't bike racers, if they're wearing that lid, have something?
Because, they're kind of classy.
All right, so we'll be back in just a second. We got to talk about our good friend Jens Voigt when we come back right after this.
All those good times, ups and downs. So many joys raising up those kids. They moved on now.
All right, guys. Jens Voigt is old. We're talking 42 years old. We're talking Chris Horner old. Jens Voigt has found himself in a weird spot. He was active during the doping period of the sport, right? Or the confirmed doping period of the sport. And now he's almost a relic of opportunity and good interviews. Like people are stoked for this guy, but they kind of forget his past. So my question is, how will history judge Jens Voigt? Will he only be remembered for the breakaways and the funny sound bites? Or will he eventually go by the wayside like George Hincapie as just a loyal lieutenant that played the game and will never really come clean about doping?
I don't know.
Well, I think George.
I think that's a pretty
came
hard
more
question,
clean.
Jim, considering I don't know what he's done throughout his career. I'm just gonna hold out hope that he was clean and he's just a nice guy that gives wacky
He was on the
interviews.
French team
He gave a good
forever.
one.
He was on the Crédit Agricole for a really long time.
Yeah, but then he was on CSC.
and they were horrible.
We want to talk
They
about
were
it.
horrible.
So
They were horrible through the
he was
worst
on a
part
good
of the
team.
doping.
he was on CSC. He was on Bjarne Ries's drivetrain. I mean, this dude was the machine for that team. When we first started watching the tour,
So are you
Jens
making
Voigt-
allegations here? Is that what's going on? Is that what
I
I'm
am
hearing?
not making allegations. However,
Sounds like you're making allegations.
he was hanging out with Bobby Julich. Remember
Cleanest
him?
guy I know.
The cleanest
I
guy
remember
we all
Bobby
know.
Julich.
So you guys think that Jens Voigt will just get away, which is fine. I like Jens Voigt for who he is. I like the
I don't
sound bites.
know.
He goes geocaching. He's always talking about fun stuff. But
He was crazy today in the interview post race.
I know, like,
Crazy.
he's got great sound bites, but they seem to really kind of forget a little bit about, where he You know, he's
Well,
been
It's
around for a while.
it's a new day and age. You know, the new
when I saw
cycling
him,
fan. We don't care.
yeah.
All right.
When I saw him being interviewed today, he was being interviewed by Van de Velde. So I mean,
Which, well, no, this Van
Ah.
de Velde thing. Let's talk about this Van de Velde thing. I think that he is the best thing added to the NBC sports coverage. The
but
fact,
aren't you mad about his past?
well, no, because he's kind of
Ooh.
come clean about it, right? I mean,
Yeah, but you don't.
he's
but you
American.
can't-
He's
I'm
not.
saying
He's
you
not
can't be
German.
mad. Yeah, you can't be mad at Jens Voigt because he hasn't come clean when
And
you
he's
don't
German.
know if he's dirty. You know, I mean, you can't presume he's guilty until.
So
until
you're trying to tell me? Well, I'm not saying he's dirty now. I'm saying that
No,
there
I don't
is-
even care if
I'm
you're saying
I
when he's
said he
dirty,
was
but you're
now
saying
when dirty.
he should come clean about what? We don't know. You can't you're gonna
Has
sit
he-
around and be like,
Has he ever
waiting
really
for him?
Okay, well,
He has more or less been like, hey, whatever, you know, like things happened, but he's never said anything. You know, he was like,
yeah. So
he kind of shrugs his shoulders and was like, well, you know, the past, whatever.
so it's almost like he's the luckiest guy that is still racing bike.
I think as long as he's like entertaining and going off the front and doing his Yenzi thing, and not actually winning anything important, he'll be fine.
Let's talk about what little guy mentioned. Christian Van de Velde now doing the coverage for NBC Sports. I think he's been a fantastic addition, mostly because they seem to have maybe started the transition away from Paul and Phil. In the last 1K alone, they talked about how Peter Sagan wouldn't go to the front, and then 10 seconds later, Peter Sagan was attacking to the front. They then
Yep.
talked about how Contador couldn't respond to Chris Froome's attack. 10 seconds later, Contador is on Froome's wheel. So whatever
Yeah.
Paul and Phil say, just think the exact opposite 10 seconds later, and then you'll
Yeah.
have it. So, you know, they've got to start this transition faster because they're horrible.
They probably, you know, in their defense, they probably had no idea that was Sagan. You know, with the white jersey on and just, you know, not having any kind of eyesight at all. Those guys, they should have retired maybe 10 years ago now.
I appreciate NBC Sports coverage, but they need to get rid of these two guys because I think it can actually build viewership for the racing.
Yeah,
But-
I can't handle the NBC. I haven't seen any of it this year. I look for the Eurosport feeds.
Oh, I do suggest that you at least try to listen a little bit to Van den Velde's coverage. It was good when it was with Bob Roll. So
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll be back in just a second. I want to talk about our inaugural 2 days of the Slow Ride Podcast Fantasy Super League.
She tried so many times. She cried.
So the question is little guy winning the Fantasy Cycling League? No, he's not.
Damn!
Currently, after 2 days, the lead is the quick release, led by Paul Messel, who is
I hate that guy.
who's a graphic designer here in Gainesville.
He's a total
Paul,
douchebag.
Paul Messel has correctly picked 2 stage winners. I di-
What kind of jerk does that? That guy
I
obviously
did
has some
that.
sort of weird connections.
I do want to say that Fignon Aerodynamics is currently in last place between the three of us. Little guy Matt Allen is in second place, and in first place
Oh,
is
really?
Capital City Meats. And Capital City Meats has taken the lead, gentlemen, because they included the little-known future superstar Michael Kwiatkowski,
Little known.
who
Did you just say
now
little known?
who now with Cavendish dropped out, I believe that Quick-Step is going to put all their eggs in the basket of this Polish phenom who everyone wonders, will he be a tour contender someday? So
I
won't
will
be,
answer that
and he's
question right
tired.
now. He will not be.
a tour contender?
No,
I read
absolutely
it on,
not.
I read it on the websites.
Oh,
The
well,
internet?
Never mind.
Did the
then.
internet tell you that?
So we should
You
talk.
can't race for 3 weeks. There's no way.
So I want to thank the 54 people that have
Yeah.
signed up
Holy
teams.
crap.
We increased our number from the Giro. Chris Alme, our friend in St. Paul, Minnesota, with Team Almageddon, is in a very distant last place. A lot of Cavendish were selected, and with Cavendish out, a lot of people are going to be missing. I do want to point
So sad.
that between the three of us, little guy, You chose a team with only 88 points. You were given a 100-point budget. Why
Yeah.
only 88?
I just those are the guys I wanted. It was hard because I kept picking the team and then being like, man, I have so many points left because Froome was so overweighted in
Yes.
the way. So if you weren't picking Froome, I think it was pretty hard.
And for the three of us,
I also don't remember who I picked.
well, I've got them
but,
right here for you. So I just want to we'll go through the teams. We
Yeah, go
did
through my team.
we did
Tell everybody.
we did do a no Frooms allowed competition between the three of us. We hope that others would have joined us, but definitely the three of us. So, little guy, your leader is Mollema of
Yeah.
Belkin.
He's gonna do really well.
You also have Nibali, and
Yeah, and obviously good pick.
and yes, he won the stage today. Great job. You have Jurgen van den Broek of
Fourth place is mine.
Yeah,
yeah.
he'll be fourth place. Yeah.
you have
Yep.
Pinot of
That's points.
FDJ, who is he the national champion of
No.
France?
No.
No, I'm sorry. Well, who's
Demars.
Pinot? Tell me a little bit about him.
Thibaut Pinot.
Yeah.
He's the guy who, when he's riding, somebody likes to hit the side of a car.
Okay. Oh, he's the one that was hit by the car.
Yeah.
With
He's the guy who had to leave the tour last year because he was too afraid to descend the mountains. He
But then
couldn't
he came
handle
back.
it.
Yeah, and
He
he
was
had a good
mentally
Volta, though.
shaken. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
and
now
you
he's
also,
back on. That's four of my guys, and they're all gonna finish in the top 10.
Okay.
So what,
Okay,
what-
well, I'm
so-
not done yet, little guy. You have
I
Thomas,
know.
Thomas the Tongue Vokeler
Yes.
of Europe Car. You have Bryce Falou of the
Ah,
Breton.
What a horrible pick.
What a
Little
horrible
guy.
That's just
That's-
he's
Little guy.
French. Come on.
So
Little
you
guy,
had like 12 extra points. You couldn't
You-
spend them on a sprinter. Like, come on, Kittle was 12 points.
Little guy,
You know what?
You spent 6
I
points
hate
on this guy.
sprinters. Sprinting is stupid.
So-
Well,
Any sprint stage is stupid. I don't want to support it. It's a total waste of my time. Like tomorrow's stage. Do you need to turn on tomorrow's stage before the last 1K? No. You
no,
don't. It's a
I mean, you
total-
don't need to turn it on at
total
all.
waste of
Kittle's
time.
gonna win.
No, so I don't want to support sprinters by picking them.
Well, Roman Falou, the only thing he's got going for him is the awesome black and white kit, which has a horrible gradient. So I don't even know
Well,
what to think.
He was in the sprinter column. He was the least sprinter in the sprinter column. He was like a sprinter 5 years ago.
I so
and I don't
love
even
the
know what he's
idea
been
that I
doing
get
since
to.
then.
I so love the idea that I get to write your paragraph because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
you're totally gonna lose. All right, you have Michael Rogers, who for 6 points actually isn't that bad of a pick, especially considering that he designed the water bottle carrying
Yeah,
vest.
and he's gonna get some good. He's gonna get some good mountain steady being up there in the mountain points, man.
You
He's
have
just gonna clock it up.
Tony Gallopin, who
He's a good pick.
that's a good pick for 6 points. He is
6
on,
points.
He is on the Lotto team, and what's crazy about Tony Gallopin is that the announcers always talk about him being, maybe the next big hope, even though it will never happen. And then you
Oh,
rounded it
they've
out.
been-
Year.
Yeah,
rounded
they've been
it out
saying that
with,
for a couple years.
Rounded out with Roy Costa of Lamprey, the world champion.
Yes.
And I picked him as one of my leaders, and we'll go through my team here next. But what do you think of Costa? Do you think he has a chance for a top 10 in the overall?
Oh yeah, I think he'll finish. I think he could finish top 10, which means I'll have 5 guys finish in the top 10, which means I'm
Yeah.
gonna win.
That's good. I've got 8 guys that are going to finish in the top 10.
So as I said, I have Costa of Lamprey. I also have Van den Broek, the tall, lanky climber, same as little guy. And also I have Thomas Vokeler. I had to go with Thomas Vokeler just for the fact that he always seems to be in the right place and always in contention for some high stage finishes.
Yeah.
At 8 points, it was maybe a stretch. I came in at exactly the 100 points. I went without the Contador, Cavendish, or Froome approach. I decided to take a few long shots and hope for a big reward. I have Andrew Talansky, who will get 4th place. I have Romain Bardret of
How is
AG
Van den Broek
Tour.
and Delansky going to get 4th place? This is going to be tricky.
They're Tyler
Yeah,
Hamilton's
they're gonna have to
Chimera
start.
twins. It's okay.
Okay.
We have AG2R's leader. I have Peter Sagan as my sprinter. I think that he will win the green. I have Heimar Zubeldia, who for 6
Did you really?
yeah,
He
for
really did.
for
Just
6
for old
points.
time's sake.
Just for old time, I still have my Euskaltel hat. And
Mm.
for 6 points, he took 6 points today, which recent
made
6
your
points
money
for
back?
GC, and he took 5 for the stage. And then I also have Michael Kwiatkowski, and I have Leopold Koenig of NetApp. I definitely had to
Good
take
pick. I had him,
NetApp.
and I almost kept him.
You could have kept him. He was only 8 points. That's a
I know, but I couldn't decide if he was gonna turn out to be really good or he was just one of those dreams that you hope he's gonna be good, but he's actually gonna finish like
He's
all right. Let me
57.
he's gonna be good in the Vuelta. That's his mo.
all right. Let me
Yeah.
find Spencer's team. I got to scroll down here a little bit under the line. Oh,
God.
there it is. It's down there.
So at least 3 of them have to be guys that I picked.
So
'cause it's me
you
and
have
Spencer.
Bauke Molema of
Yep.
Good
Belkin.
choice.
Good
choice,
choice.
Yep.
Spencer.
You have Nibali, who's the same choice as
Good choice.
the little guy.
Yep.
You have Thibaut Pinot of FDJ.
Also brilliant.
You went with the bloody man, Lawrence Tendam, who always seems to find himself in the
Yes.
pictures of the tour. So
It's a pretty good choice.
is
He's
it
Top
got
gonna,
a
10.
cold though.
so
Did you know he has a cold?
yeah,
I
but
didn't.
it's a
It'll
3-week
be
tour.
fine.
So
Yeah.
here's the
He has a
question:
He lost
Will
16.
Tendam find himself bloodied from getting hit by a car? Will he find himself bloodied from running into barbed wire? Or will he find himself bloodied from the fabled accident caused by cattle that we have been waiting for years to see?
Cattle. I think no blood, just snot.
Ooh.
He's gonna have a clean race, but by his standards, that means he's gonna be covered in snot by the end of the race.
So don't ride behind him is the idea. He's not gonna be a good wheel to follow, and that means he's gonna get the gap.
Yeah.
No, he's that guy that's always like hawking like loogies, and it's just
That's the
massive.
trick.
And
You know
you
how-
don't want
how
to
when
get
you
you
ride-
don't want to get spit on in a bike
You know
race.
how when you
okay?
ride down the bike path and you get a patholete that latches on your wheel, doesn't say anything, you don't know they're there, kind of thing, and they're just following
Yeah,
you, and
I
all
had
of a
it
sudden you
today.
can you hear them coast, and you're like, son of a bitch, somebody is just glued on my wheel and didn't say.
Wait, so
anything.
what's the proper etiquette? Are you supposed to say like, "Hey, do you mind if I ride back?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no, you're supposed to
that's the
get
thing.
off my wheel. And,
Well, yeah,
and
you
go
probably
back.
wait,
should
so you
use
don't
two
allow a
bike
hitch.
people's wheel that you don't know.
So you don't
But-
allow a hitchhiker, like some guy.
No,
Like, what if they
no, no,
ask,
no.
like, "Hey, do you mind if I ride your wheel for a little bit?"
I usually say I don't care, but I actually do care. It's super annoying.
Yeah.
But if
But
they
has anyone
ask,
ever
at
asked?
least. But here's the thing: if they ask, I won't do this. But if they don't ask, a nice way to get them off the wheel is to Lawrence Tendam them and blow some snot rockets backwards over your shoulder, like you didn't know they were there, because technically you don't know that they were there, and that'll get them off your wheel pretty quick.
So do we
I
have?
just turned abruptly.
So do we have? So we have a judgment here. A slow ride podcast. The real rules is you just don't go ride directly behind someone you don't know. You leave at least
No.
3 or 4 bike lengths, like it's a time trial, and then you pass them.
Two's fine with me, but you just don't get in the slipstream, man. It's
Yeah,
just weird. It's
It's
just
not a
bizarre.
race.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You don't
And-
know this person. Why are you right behind them where you could like
So if
run
someone
into
is
them?
riding on your wheel, you have permission to Tendam them with your
Yes.
snots. You
Yes.
have Marcel Kittel of the Hair Gel.
he's gonna
Uh,
win the green jersey. He's already got the bike painted and everything. It's gonna be awesome.
How many times will Kittle throw his bike? You have a bunch of riders I've never heard of here. You do have Alberto Contador. You punked out and you took Contador.
Well, because he's gonna win.
Sure. But let's get to the 3 riders. I don't even know who they are. You guys can make fun of me, but I have no
Okay.
clue who these guys are.
I'm ready.
Steven Kruiswijk of Belkin. Did I say that last name probably
That's a
incorrectly?
weird pick.
That's a
But I
great
mean, I've
pick.
heard of him.
Why? What?
He-
He,
what
he's
pick.
going to be right up there with Malma and Lauren Tendam. He's going to be their one of their captains, like getting Malma up the road. But I don't
So-
trust Malma that much. Like I think he's going to be good,
you
but not
trusted
great.
him enough to pick him on your team.
Right? No, this is the logic here. Like he's going to be very good, but not good enough. And Tandem and this other guy whose name I can't pronounce, they're also going to be that good. So like all
Wow,
three
you have a
of
lot
them
of
are
Belkin
always going to be up there.
He's
Yeah.
got 3. He's got. Well, I think the faith is in Belkin not having a sponsor next year. So
right, they're
therefore,
all
Right.
riding for themselves. They're not
That's
riding for
true.
MoMA.
so
So they're all going to be up there, and they're all going to be getting points.
so let's
But-
go to this next guy that you have from Giant Shimano, Tom Dumoulin.
Mhm.
That's a good pick. Good pick.
He's an excellent pick. He's going to be a white
I-
jersey winner. At the
No,
end of the
he's
day.
not. No,
it'll either
no.
be him. It'll
No.
either be him or Pinot.
Are you nuts? Spencer?
Yes,
No.
that is That is
No.
how it's gonna go.
Easily, Michael Kiwakowski will be winning the
He
white jersey.
can't ride the big mountains, Tim.
Dude,
he can't
he's
do
the
it.
next tour hope.
No,
Okay,
he's not.
whatever. No.
Do
Andy
Milan.
Schleck's gonna win the white
So
jersey.
and then you finally for movie star you have Ion Izagirre.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
newly crowned Spanish national champion,
No.
who's also going to be in the hunt for the white jersey. I've got the white jersey locked up. That is free points. That is free points.
I guess.
And all
I
these guys
saw
are
a
going to
guy
be top
in a white
15.
jersey today.
As far as best team names, right now Miller's Crossing, Millar, is definitely near my favorite, as that is, as we all know, a famous Coen Brothers movie.
It's a reference to David Miller too. You know?
I know. So like,
That's
there's definitely
the spelling connection there.
no, I get it. Like
You have pointed that out. I just want to make sure.
everything else,
so
we will
8
let
of
you
my
know.
guys, top 10. 8 of them. Everybody but Kittle.
You're out of your mind.
All right, we'll be
I'm
back
gonna crush you
real
guys.
quick to just wrap up this episode 16 of the Slow Ride Podcast.
They both rise into the day. Holding on to what they
The final thing I wanted to talk about today, I don't know if you guys saw Nibali on the podium, and he
Yep.
got so he was getting his lion, he was getting his yellow jersey, he turns to his right, and he gets the cheek kiss from the podium hostess, and he turns to his left to go in for the kiss with the other podium hostess, and she totally stands him up, like leans
saw
back
that.
and is not going to kiss him. Now, I had heard rumors that they were getting rid of the podium kisses, so maybe there was some miscommunication, but what is up with podium girls? It's time to do away with them. I know we can do this conversation more, but it seems that, even at women's races, you still see podium girls. It's really strange until there's a bunch of dudes up on the podium with the ladies. I don't know. This heteronormative idea
Yeah.
of podium girls is frustrating to me. So,
Why?
guys,
Why?
brief,
Why?
because I think it's stupid. I think it is a throwback to the old time. I'm not a big fan of it.
What is cycling though?
What is cycling
Like,
is
all
getting a
the
stuffed
Tour de
animal.
France- The whole
You're
Tour
gonna
de
keep
France
them
is a
just-
throwback to older times. It's a
Yeah,
classic
but
era.
why does that part have
So
to-
why
we're
do I-
not we're not
maintain?
racing cars. We're not racing motorcycles.
No.
We're racing bicycles. Like it's everything is a throwback, and that's
So
you
it's
know,
okay to
it's
have
period
podium girls?
correct. I don't know, but
It's
it's
not
period,
okay.
Period correct? This isn't
Yeah.
a reenactment. What the
It sort of is though.
No, it's not. There's
It's not
electronic
real.
shifting on bikes.
Oh,
They're not having a
They
stick.
have radios in their
It's
ears.
it's a
Producer.
romance thing. It's
Can you guys hold
never
up? I
gonna
gotta
leave
flip my
like
gear. I gotta flip my wheel around so I can change my gear on this descent. Get rid of podium girls and hostesses and women and dudes.
What
and
is
just be
going to
done with
happen
it.
to the podium girl economy though if you do that?
That's true. That's how Christophe Moreau met his wife.
That's how George Hincapie met his wife. But still,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Love
the
is
question
in the
is,
air on the
How was
podium.
Hincapie on the podium anyway to meet the podium hostess? That's a whole nother discussion. Thank you for joining the Slow Ride Podcast. You can download on iTunes or Stitcher. Just search the Slow Ride Podcast. Visit our website, theslowridepodcast.com, for all of the links and information. Leave a review for us on iTunes. Help us rise up the rankings. And have a wonderful week watching the 101st Tour de France.
She loves him so. She loves him so. She does what she has to. She loves him so. She loves him so. She loves him so. She does what she needs to.